According to Wikipedia, Imelda Marcos is a Filipina politician and convicted criminal who was First Lady of the Philippines for 20 years, during which she and her husband Ferdinand Marcos stole billions from the Filipino people. Oh my God, this is so bad. Mabuhay and welcome back to the channel. My name is Tez Milan. I am a Filipino-American creative who is on a mission to do a deep dive into my lost Philippine heritage, to learn as much as I can and to share that with you. Today, I want to stay in line with Women's History Month, and I would like to talk about a woman of the Philippines who has made her definitive mark on history, whether for the good or for the bad. Women's History Month is, of course, about celebrating all of the wondrous women who have done so much for the world and done so much in terms of furthering women's rights and furthering women's abilities to be and become whoever it is that they want to be. I have decided to talk about a woman of the Philippines who is probably the most famous woman from the Philippines. She's loved and she's also, how do I say this? Quite controversial. I'll just put it that way. Her name is Imelda Marcos. The reason why she's so controversial, hold on, I'm going to take a quick sip of my tea before I get started. Imelda is a controversial figure. There's no doubt about that. She is the wife of former President Ferdinand Marcos. The Marcos administration doesn't exactly have the best reputation. During their time in power, they were said to have taken a lot of money from the Philippine government, from the Philippine people. I may or may not go into that in a future episode. I'm trying to be as delicate as I can because there are some people that have very strong opinions about her. I just want to be fair in terms of sharing with you a person of the Philippines who has very much been a part of the Philippine history, and especially of recent history. For the purposes of this video, I wanted to share with you just a little bit about where she came from, as well as I would like to share with you the time that I actually got to meet Imelda Marcos. That's right. I have sat down with Imelda. I've had dinner with her. I've heard her sing. And now that doesn't necessarily do away with any of the things that she has been accused of. It doesn't do away with any of the things that people have said that she has done. Because she is such a renowned figure in Philippine history, I just feel like it's important to share with you this person who has made such an important mark as a woman of Philippine history. So just a few facts about Imelda Marcos. Imelda was born into a well-known political family. There are accounts written of her that say that she knew from a very early age that she wanted to become an important figure in the Philippines. She went to school and she got an education, and she was known for her beautiful voice. According to Wikipedia, she married Ferdinand Marcos in 1954 and became First Lady in 1965 when he became president of the Philippines. There are a lot of people that say that she is responsible for him winning the election. She put her spell on many political figures, charming them with her intelligence, with her banter, with her talent, and Ferdinand Marcos even went so far as to call her his secret weapon. When I met Imelda, she was definitely all that. The moment she walked into the room, you just felt this presence about her. She holds herself like a dignitarian. She knows how to talk to people. She knows how to really look at you and make you feel like you're the most important person to her in the room. At the same time, I also felt that she had an agenda. And I don't necessarily mean a bad agenda. When I went to the Philippines during that trip where I met her, it wasn't to meet her. I don't even remember if I had an idea that I was going to meet her. I was living in Germany at the time. This was in 2008, and I was there as a professional singer. That year, I got an incredible opportunity to go back to the Philippines to sing with a band that was doing covers of classic rock, which is not my style of singing typically. I'm usually more of a musical theater, jazz, and pop singer, but I got to meet the leader of that band, and he told me, before I actually knew that he was a singer himself, he told me, oh, I'm married to a Filipina and she lives in the Philippines and I go back and forth. He was living in Germany. He said, well, Tez, you know, I'm also a singer of a band and I would love to exchange numbers. So I exchanged numbers with him. He later called me and said, Tez, I'm going to the Philippines to perform with my band. My wife has organized a lot of events for us, and unfortunately our female vocalist cannot join us because she has to do her day job. And so he said, Tez, if you can learn all of this music within the next week, I think it was like 60 songs or something, and these were all songs that I didn't know. I think there was like maybe one song that I knew, Walking on Sunshine, that I had been singing with other bands. He's like, you must come to the Philippines with us because we don't have another singer and we need another singer. I learned the music, we had a rehearsal, and then a week later later, I was flying to the Philippines. I don't recall if I knew during that flight that I would be meeting Imelda. I think that when we got there, they gave me the rundown of what was to be expected. We did a lot of amazing gigs. We performed at the Hard Rock Cafe. We performed at the hotel that we were staying at. I think it was the Mandarin Oriental. We also had dinners with some of the high society of the Philippines. It was just the most amazing experience. Then at one of those dinners, I was told, oh, by the way, you're gonna meet Imelda Marcos. And I was like, I'm meeting Imelda Marcos? The one that my parents told me about? The one that I had heard about had all of those shoes. Yes, Imelda is known in history not only for being the first lady of Ferdinand Marcos, but she's also known for having one of the biggest shoe collections of any first lady in the entire world. I looked it up and I think that they were saying that she had over 3,000 pairs of shoes. And I'm not just talking about any type of shoe. I'm talking about like designer shoes. Yeah, that woman that I'd heard about with all the shoes, I was gonna go meet that woman. So as it turns out, she not only came to a dinner that we were all there together for, she also came to some of the performances, and she also invited us into her home. We went up the elevator to go to her home to visit with her, and the first thing that I noticed is that it is beautiful. This place was immaculate. She had so many pictures of her and Ferdinand, and what I noticed is that when I walked in, she has almost like a shrine. It's not a shrine. I don't think it's a shrine, but it looked like a shrine because it was so many photos of her late husband, Ferdinand. I was just like, wow, this woman is still so dedicated to her husband. It blew my mind. I had no idea that someone could revere her husband in such a way. So then we sat down with her. I think we had some snacks, or I think we had like maybe some tea or something, or maybe I had a soda. Because the group that I was with, they're all Germans, she wanted to share with us some things that she felt were important for them, in particular as Germans, that she wanted them to know. She then led us down a hallway. She had on the wall maps of the world. She had like maps, and then she took a pointer, and she started to point towards the maps and pointed to the Philippines, and she went on for probably about 10 to 15 minutes talking about the importance of the Philippine nation and the reason why it was strategically so important for there to be alliances with the Philippines from different countries around the world, including Germany. She also talked about China. She talked about the United States. She pointed at the Philippines with her pointer and was like, okay, look at us. We're in the center of Asia Pacific. Like, we are the gatekeepers of Asia. I mean, she really was very dedicated to sharing this message with us. And that was the thing that really impressed me about her. She was on a mission to let us know exactly how important that she felt that the Philippines was. And she did that in her home in a hallway where it looked like she actually had that set up to be able to tell people her story and to tell people what it is that she felt was important for them to know about herself and the Philippines. So that was my experience meeting her in her home. I do want to also share one other story with you about my time with Imelda. We went to dinner with her, and that's actually the night that I saw her sing. She performed, and she has the most beautiful, lyrical soprano voice. It's very high, it's very lilting. It's what I could probably imagine my grandmother on my father's side, what her voice sounded like, because I was told that she was a beautiful classical singer. That night, the leader of that band, he told her and told everybody that it was my birthday that day.
Surprise!
My birthday's in August. We went to the Philippines in October. I was like, he didn't tell me. He just announced to the table, he said,
"Oh, Tez, by the way, it is your birthday today, isn't it?"
and I was like, what? And he said,
"Yes, it's your birthday."
I said, okay. The other band members, they turned to me and they were like, so it's your birthday? And I was like, no, it's not. My birthday's in August. But the band leader looked at me and he's like,
"It's your birthday, right?"
and I said, yes. And I look over to Imelda because she's sitting like across the table from me. She turns over her shoulder, goes like this. Somebody comes to her side. She starts whispering. She's like, and then she looks at me and then she looks away. And I'm like, starting to burn up. I'm like burning up inside because I'm like, oh my God, I just lied to Imelda Marcos. Suddenly somebody comes in from outside. He's carrying a huge bouquet of roses and a red box. This red box. He hands it to Imelda. She gets up. She walks around to the other side of the table to me and says, happy birthday, Tez. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, thank you. This box, which has her name on it, is a jewelry box. I open it up, and inside is this necklace that I'm wearing. What I'm assuming is that she has prepared in her car gifts to give to people in the event that she is surprised by any sort of celebration that she needs to take part in, and offer a gesture of congratulations or thanks. I was so shocked and so in awe of this beautiful gift that she had given me. And I, to this day, am still in shock. The thing that she showed me is that you can wrap this several times around your neck, so you can have it as like a double necklace, or the way that I like to wear it is I like to wear it long. I like to wear it like this. And I've worn this necklace on several important occasions, and other than that, it stays in the red box and it's traveled with me from the various places that I've lived ever since I received it from her in 2008. Having shared those stories with you, I have to say that Imelda is an incredible politician. She's an incredible public figure. She knows how to present herself. She knows how to talk to people. She knows how to hold a room. She knows how to hold an audience, and she knows how to share her message. Those are things that I think are worthy of sharing with you. I'm honestly not sure if I want to go down the path of talking about the controversial sides of her. Maybe I'll have the courage to do that in the future. I'm not really sure yet. There are a lot of documentaries and there are a lot of articles that you can read and research about her that tells a side to her that is not necessarily in the best light. But I want to be fair to her and share with you what it is that I know about her, what it is that I experienced with her, and to share with you that she treated me with the utmost respect and care, as I would have imagined any person would who is welcoming a guest from another country. So that's my short account of Imelda Marcos. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I hope to share more important figures of Philippine history with you. If you know of any details about Imelda that you'd like to share, feel free to put them in the comment section down below. I know not everything about her is rainbows and unicorns, but I think it's important to share what it is that we know about these people as fairly and as respectfully as we can, even if it's not necessarily the most comfortable information. I welcome a dialogue where we can all learn and grow from what it is that we know about people and what we know about history. Thanks so much for watching. Paalam! Goodbye! Mabuhay and welcome. Welcome back to the channel. I'm going to talk about a pretty controversial woman of the Philippines. Can't all be rainbows and unicorns, although she is a unicorn, in my opinion.